Hello, this is Solomon Davis, Rightside Trader. Today is December 5th, 2024, and this is a quick review of a trade, really of an indicator. This is all for educational purposes only, no trade recommendation, because as we all know, trading is risky. You can lose money at trading, so please check with your financial advisor. Please check with your significant other, and make sure trading is something that is suitable for you. Thinkorswim has finally put out a VWAP. I don't know if I'm saying that right, a VWAP, ever how you may say it. It's the VWAP indicator, anchored. That's the good thing about it. It is anchored now. It's not just set off some random date and all. You can anchor it wherever you would like to anchor this thing at and use it. It's, in general, from what I'm seeing, it's a support or resistance type of indicator. I'm not an expert of this indicator. It's it's been brought to my attention too many times now recently. So I say, okay, I need to take a look at it, and I need to see what it's all about. So it was brought to my attention probably over 2 or 3 years ago. And one guy was trying to show me, and I looked at it, and I didn't kind of like it. I don't think what we was looking at was an anchored and all, and I really didn't get it, and I didn't really go out there on YouTube like we all do to see what it was all about. Then again, another guy brought it up to my attention and all. And again, I told him, I had looked at that before. There's nothing there for me. I kind of just brushed it off right away. Then here just recently, somebody else brought it up to me again, and I was watching another video, and this other video that I was watching, he was using this anchored, VWAP. And then I realized Thinkorswim has an anchored VWAP on their platform. So now I got a little bit more interested, and I wanted to go take a look and see what this anchored VWAP is all about and how to use it. There is a lot of good videos out there. Look for the guy that kind of like, he said he didn't invent it, but he has wrote a book on it, and he's been using it probably since its inception. It was created by some mathematician, again, trying to involve price and volume and an indicator and all. And I got a friend also, he's trying to do that. I've tried to do that myself too and all in the past. I got this bottom indicator that you're looking at, that's a volume type indicator and all. So we all been looking and thinking about things like that and all, and trying to figure something out to see how we can use volume to help us with our trading, day trading and long-term trading. That's the one thing. The one guy out there, I'm not giving any names because I don't want to get in any trouble and all. And like I say, no trade recommendation. It's just an observation just for education here, just looking at this indicator itself. And Thinkorswim also, they have a video out there on how to use this indicator. Well, not how to use it, how it works. Because that's a lot of times we get where they don't want to say this is how you should do it. Again, it's something new. It's something that we should all be starting to play with on this platform if you haven't already been using it. Because I did find another guy that was actually really pretty good. He provided code before Thinkorswim even had put it out on the platform. So that was a good thing too. So again, like I said, there are some good resources out there, on YouTube. And also, again, find them and all. The free tool, I might even still have the free tool here. It's kind of like, and that's what usually happens. Enough people start writing their own scripts, writing their own codes, which you can do on the Thinkorswim platform for the indicators that they want, just like what I did down here and all. And just like I did with my pivots, I have pivots out here on the Thinkorswim platform, I think before they had pivots and all. So, but then later on, Thinkorswim actually started putting pivots out and stuff. Man, maybe I couldn't find them. Who knows? That's how I get sometimes. But let me just jump over here right quick. This is my saw master volume thing, which is not that important. We won't worry, look at that. What we're looking at is this anchored VWAP. And I got a couple moving averages on there, but throw the 9 and 18. Whatever your favorite moving averages are, it really doesn't matter if it's 721, 621, or whatever you like using for your day trading, or your 5200 for your long-term traders and stuff. But this is kind of like I'm looking at it for day trading right at this time. I will be looking at this for longer term type trading too. But the cool thing, let's go here in this anchored VWAP. I'm going to go into the properties of it. And one of the things that you want to, big thing that's different on the Thinkorswim platform, they have this deviation thing, 2 standard deviations and all, where you can set that. And 2 is usually when it's really pretty extended and all. So it's kind of like good to have. I'm kind of getting used to looking at that, and it kind of played out today and all. The other thing is that I didn't notice, this begin date. This begin date is the big thing. And on this other custom one, I won't go into that because the guy, he did a good video on it, and I don't want to butcher, his thing of how he did it. He did an excellent job on it and all. But with his, you can anchor it even at the beginning of the day based on time, or even in the middle of the day, and all. So that was the whole thing. And I saw one other guy who had one of these using the VWAP and anchoring it. He would anchor it on market spikes, market drops, and all, and then see how it played out, which was looking pretty interesting also. So there's a lot of tools that are out there. Some of them may not be free. I don't know. I'm not trying to promote anything or anybody, but I'm just kind of letting you know there's a lot of different things when it comes to this. Where are you going to begin? Where are you going to anchor it at? So this on the Thinkorswim platform, this begin date is your anchored date. And like you say, I anchored it on the beginning of the week for me, just to play around with it today and for this video, and because I want to see how it will play out for this week, since I had already done a few trades and stuff. And I want to, what my big issue is getting consistent about playing the market to the downside. I had already knew for the IWM a downside play probably would be a pretty good play, but a lot of times I avoid those trades, and I got to get where I take those trades and stop avoiding them. So the thing is, the indicators that I've been using, my moving averages are pretty good, but I don't usually have those on the chart all the time. The stochastic is one of the ones if you've seen my videos in the past. It's the indicator that normally I would be using and all. And it's the type of indicator. It can be at the top saying it's going to drop, and then once it drops, it's at the bottom and it hangs out at the bottom. So it's not it's a kind of like a momentum change indicator, more so than actually giving me that true, is it time to take that trade type indicator, in my opinion. And we have adapted it where it does work still pretty good for that a lot of times, but you need to combine it with something else and all. So I kind of like showed you the inside of here. Oh, let me go back in here one more time. I won't go into the source, but to change this date, all you got to do is click on the calendar. I can go back months, I can go forward years, I can go back years, I can select the date that I want, and I just re-anchored it to a few years back. The other thing that I kind of noticed watching the one guy who was anchoring using the anchored VWAP and so how he selected his date, it was, like I said, it was based on peaks and bottoms. Or the thing is, if you're going to be using it for day trading, I think it's probably best if you anchor it like a couple of days before the day you actually, or at some significant volumes spike before the time that you are trading. Seems like that's working better. But again, like I say, I'll be studying in this for probably the next couple of months. It's only been a couple of weeks where I really trying to dig into it and start trying to do things and all before I really come up with how I'm actually where I'm be anchoring at, if I'm going to be using this particular one here on the Thinkorswim platform, or like I say, there's another one. Let me see if I can bring that up, see if I can just show you the name of that other one. Let me go here, and what did I call it? ACH. Nope. What did I call it? Let me see. Did I save it? I don't see it. BOL. That's not it. ACH. AN. That's what I'll do. ANCH. No, I don't know. I don't see it. Maybe I did it in the live account and I didn't do it in the virtual account and all. But it's another one that's out there that's actually really pretty good too and all. And it's free. That's the whole thing. If I could find it, let me see. I think I got their website up still. I got the code here still. Edit copy. What I'll do, again, I don't mind. I'm just kind of one of those things where I am going to do a create. I don't type blah, 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 blah. This is something else that I want to do. We're going to Control A, Control V. That's that anchored VWAP one. TB anchored VWAP. The website is Trader Brigadier or something like that. I'll bring it over. So again, I don't mind. Right here. This is the website where I got it from. I started looking at other things, and like I said, they have a lot of stuff out there that are free, and they do have some paid stuff, no advertisement, but I don't get anything from them. I just want to show you where I got this code from, and I will call it. I'm gonna call it TB underscore A NCHORED. Say okay. And the other thing that was, like I said, pretty cool, they were putting multiple anchor VWAPs on their charts. I saw this one guy, he was doing that. Like I said, he was every little peak, he was putting the anchor on. Every little drop, he was putting an anchor on it, trying to see what was happening. I don't know if he actually trades like that, but he was just showing how flexible the particular tool that he was using worked. Now, the properties on this one, nope, did I go to the right one? This one right here, I want to go to this one. This one right here, they have a time. They have an anchor date, which now makes better sense than the begin date, and all I like that, And all they have is the VWAP only. I'll leave it blue. I'll make it a bigger dashed line like that, and this time, let me based on the chart that you're on, go to that website. He did a real good video on explaining how to use this, because it was really kind of tricky to me the first time I started trying to use it. I'm gonna go to 2024. What's the date? I'm gonna go 0502. 2024 12/02, and it has to be a time on that particular chart that does occur. So I will use. I'm gonna be on we should be able to get 930, 0930, and I'm gonna say okay, and I'm gonna try to go ahead and apply, and see. Yes, it did show up. Cool. So I did learn a little something there. And as you can see, they're right on top of each other, which is a good thing. We would hope. I did say hope that would occur. The only difference is, like the Thinkorswim one, its begin date was on that particular day. With this one, the begin date and time can be right. Like I said, we can set it right at market open for that day instead of the 9:30 open and instead of the midnight open of that day, and that's the only difference. And since it's an average weighted volume indicator type thing, after a little bit of time, that's why I'm saying you couldn't really use it. In my opinion, I wouldn't like trying to use it right away for this day and off of that volume, but I guess it could work. I don't know. Like I say, no trade recommendation. This is just a whole thing of studying. But as you can see, this is how it goes. This is really pretty cool, and they do line up and all with no problem at all. So the calculations in both of these, they're using the same calculations in order to do it. Now, I'm going to go back to the beginning of the week, where like I say, again, on this particular day, I don't think, again, because how they look at it me based on my indicators and my style of trading, a red candle down, this is a play to the downside. My other indicator right here kind of like tells me, okay, I do have selling volume, take this trade to the downside. I have a lot of things telling me to take the trade to the downside, but a lot of times I just don't do it. That's the whole thing. Or I do it and I get out too early. So that's the other thing that I'm looking for, this VWAP to help me. This brown line on the 2 standard deviation line is my bottom. So I want to get where a lot of times if I'm studying this thing, I want to see how often does it do something like this. Under the VWAP, stay under the VWAP, go to bottom. Selling pressure is on. Let's see if we can see how far we can take this thing on. I see my thing start. I see my little indicator reversing that selling volume is becoming less. Again, it's time for me to get out of my trade and out to the downside. And usually I'm a morning trader. I trade this stuff right here, right way, and then I do look for these reversal type things. Boom, and all. But again, based on the whole VWAP thing, is it going to come up the VWAP and reverse back down, or is it going to be strong and gap and go higher to the next lineup and all? But again, based on a lot of my rules and things, and under my moving average on the pivot, and I'll still wait for that downward trade will probably be a better trade and all. But as we can see, this first time it broke above VWAP on this day with it being anchored right here, and we got underneath it, trying to stay underneath it. The sellers were under pressure, and it finally started getting above here. And then your trade break out above VWAP. Now, instead of me waiting for a breakout above some of this stuff, I can take a breakout above here, and I can see, that buying pressure, selling pressure, buying pressure, selling pressure, but this thing is staying above VWAP. The buyers are beginning to win, and again, it gets me where I can trade this all the way up to, my 2 standard deviation line. So that's what I'm seeing, and plus on my other indicator, I can see the buyers are coming in. My volume indicator is telling me there's more buying than selling. It's telling me it's okay to go long. That's what I'll do there. But let's go look at another day right quick. I just want to go through a couple of days. I said I wanted to do a video for myself for a couple of days of this to see what happened for this week. Again, VWAP. Underneath VWAP, stay underneath VWAP, red candle to the downside, red candle to the downside. Traded to 2 standard deviations down. It did go a little bit below. My red indicator here was telling me it was okay. And this is the one that I did a video on also before, saying it couldn't break the morning high, and it ended up going lower and all. So good trade. Right here, you can tell we got dojis based on our candle pattern and stuff. We started getting indecision in the market. Seemed like the market may have hit a bottom and all, and then it did actually ended up turning around and reversing. It ended up getting at one point, we can see how this 2 standard deviation line has started acting as resistance. And here, it finally bopped up above that 2 standard deviation. So that's your confirmation candle also on your candle pattern, your morning star candle pattern, and then okay to play it. You would think to play it back to your VWAP line. As you can see, it didn't do that. But based on the moving average line, it did come back to that and all. And again, with me being a short-term trader, scalp trader, making my 10, 20 cents on that trade, that's about all I would be looking for anyway. But let's go ahead and scroll down a little bit more. And again, it came back down here where the 2 standard deviation, I don't trade this late in the day, but this 2 standard deviation line started acting as support and all, but it never really came back up there. So overall, it's still probably on the bigger picture. And I'm looking at a 15-minute chart, guys. I'm not looking at my normal 5-minute chart too. Just bring that out to your attention. Normally, I'm looking at a 5-minute chart too. So bring that to your attention. But let's go ahead and go. That was Monday, Tuesday. Let's take a look at yesterday, Wednesday. Today is Thursday. So let's zoom. And here, green candle up, green candle volume, look good down here. But now I'm underneath VWAP. So this is where yesterday it gave me a little bit of a headache looking at this and all, trying to say, okay, what do I do? And all, then it looks like it's going to go up, but then it doesn't go anywhere. And I did hear one guy talk about, is this a good indicator for indexes? That's the other thing that you need to look at. Should we be using this indicator on stocks, something that doesn't have, so much control as this thing here, as an index. That's a whole other thing too. So again, that's what I'm saying. I'm still studying this right now. I studied it on the first things that I like trading are the indexes, and then I'll start going to individual stocks and start looking at it on individual stocks and see how well it works for that. And I also will play around with my different anchor dates also on this thing too. But right here on this trade to the upside, as we can see, it did give us a breakout, but no confirmation of that breakout. And we would have been targeting, up to here. It never went anywhere. It just went sideways. And then I know later it did end up rolling back down to the downside. Again, back. And we had a break below VWAP, and then maybe a confirmation, and then follow on through all the way back down to your two standard deviation line. And as you can see, that 2 standard deviation line ended up acting as support even though I can see my volume thing was turning around at that time, and that was a pretty good indication that that downward trade was done And it did come back this time. It did come all the way back up to your VWAP line, where your VWAP line now giving you that, big indecision in the market and what's going to happen. And that's where they ended up closing at And then today, let's take a quick look at today, and I'll wrap this on up. And today, on the VWAP, stay on the VWAP, on the pivot, stay on the pivot. Red candle, boom. Well, then you got a big green candle coming back at you And then you kind of, okay, still on the VWAP. I'm committed to this downward trade and it did end up coming down to your standard deviation line and still stayed up on the pivot. It ended up dropping a little bit more. My volume indicator down here gave us a bottom in that, and we got a candle pattern here of a reversal and a confirmation of that, breaking above there, expecting it to go maybe to here. But again, my moving averages ended up acting as resistance and now we look like we're forming a candle pattern where this thing may roll over again and come back down to the downside. But that's it. That's all I really want to share at this time. This is kind of like how I go about studying these indicators on intraday. I will also play around with different time frames. Right now I'm just looking at this 15-minute time frame, but I'll change to a 5-minute time frame, an hour time frame. I might even throw it on I saw one guy, he was on a minute chart. So I might even try to throw it down on a minute chart and see how well it works. And I know with the one where you can change the time, I played around with that one I think on a minute chart the other day. I just started really playing around with the Thinkorswim one here this week and I haven't. Let me just throw it to a minute chart right now. So as you can see, I don't even have a minute on my thing here. Let me go time frame, intraday. Let's just go. We need to go. Let's go 10 days, and let's go a minute. And on a minute chart, see, a minute chart to me is just too much noise, But again, you see the same type of thing where it couldn't break that. On the minute chart, you can get better entries, But patterns on a minute chart don't mean too much of anything to me, And on a minute chart here, this here would kind of fake me out again. But I'm underneath. This is where it helps me, though. I'm getting close to a VWAP line. This is not a good place to take a long trade just because I see this. It's been going too long anyway. This is one of those areas where I have to be cautious. It might be a better time on the VWAP. Stay on the VWAP just like it did earlier, double topping, triple topping. And back to the downside. That's on a minute chart. I hadn't looked at this on a minute chart. On a minute chart, pop up, going sideways day. Finally broke below and did go down to 2 standard deviation. On a minute chart, breaking above, see again, then breaking below, couldn't break back. Again, you're going to have to be kind of like, this is going to be more of like a next best play. You got to really, to me, I have to really, it has to show me that okay, this is working out. The players are coming in the way you expect them to come in at this time around this thing. The first time, again, stay away from that. And on a minute chart too. A minute chart, definitely stay away from that. It's like the next few times you see it come back up here, maybe you get an entry here, maybe you get an entry here. You're seeing that on the VWAP, the sellers are tending to be in control and all. And let's just take a look at the last little day here, one day here. And this is real close to their anchor date. And sellers, again, this was back on Monday when I was expecting the sellers to be in control, and we got a good drop, came back up, got a good drop, came back up, and we did good across there. But then we kind of, I bet you on a higher time frame, you'll have a pattern here, and you came back down, but maybe you wouldn't take that trade until you got back to see what was going to happen here. And on a minute chart, again, you could have maybe on this coming back, couldn't come back up and break VWAP and played it back to the downside. Again, I go back to one of my things, the first time testing that area is usually the best time, but never before did it get back up here. Here it's too late in the game to actually try to play it back to the downside, in my opinion, and all. And it did give you a double bottom here at this level here, playing it back to the upside. And I'm looking at 240.34, 242. And 241.07. That's over 50 cents on the trade, over 25 cents on an option trade. And that's it. That's pretty much all I really want to share. This is Solomon. This is kind of like a quick look at VWAP and seeing how it works. Might be a lot of mumbling, but it'll be good for me to remember what I did with this indicator and be able to go back to it and look at something and the ideals that I had in my head about how I can go about using it and looking at it. But for everyone else, this is something new that I might start throwing out there on my chart for a little while, because again, as I'm learning it, and I don't mind you learning it also in the style that I trade, and see how it works out. That's it. This is Solomon, Rightside Trader. Hope this is being helpful, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.